So I guess we have a new breaking development in the ongoing 2020 election saga as it pertains to the Trump legal team investigation, with attorney Sidney Powell being distanced from the Trump legal team. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way with fighting against the censorship of big tech's algorithm to suppress alternative voices, facts, and their information. So please hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. It goes a long way, as well as hitting the like button, share, and please don't forget to comment on this video. Let's get ready to get into it. So apparently the latest news is that Trump's official legal team, comprising of at least Rudy Giuliani, has come out recently with a statement distancing themselves from fellow attorney Sidney Powell. Apparently the reason for this distancing or public distancing is that Sidney Powell, attorney Sidney Powell, is making claims that the Trump campaign or Trump legal team cannot officially back up, validate, and or prove themselves. So reportedly, Sidney Powell has been working on her own, gathering her own evidence and information and in support of the Trump legal team, and hoping to work with them, but never working actually for them. But now, due to recent claims that she has been making over the course of the weekend, and or at least since Friday, about her having proof that Dominion actually flipped a lot of votes, tens of thousands, if not millions, for Biden away from Trump, and its connection to Hugo Chavez down in Venezuela as part of an active conspiracy to literally flip those votes electronically. Now, let's get a little background on who Sidney Powell is. She is a well-decorated and reputable attorney of law. Started out as a prosecutor and then started her own her own private practice. Has worked extensively with the Enron corporations during that huge scandal, and more recently with General Flynn's case. And throughout her legal career as a private attorney, she's also overturned over 350 appellate court and higher rulings, and that, yes, includes the Supreme Court. So she has a lot of credibility, is a very capable attorney. So while the media is going to throw her under the bus in this latest revelation as being some kook crazy, and they're doing this with the Trump legal team as well, and the official word that they love to use is making unsubstantiated claim, a little word they love to throw out there, which basically means without claims, without evidence, without proof, to try to discredit them, call them kooks or crazy for not going with the official narrative, and or call that Biden has clearly won. Nothing to see here. Sidney Powell is way too decorated and respected of an attorney to just make out wild claims like that, especially since, and according to one of her latest Twitter posts, she included a copy of an actual affidavit supporting her claim. Now, here's one thing I think a lot of people who like to throw out the term unsubstantiated claims, i.e. without evidence or proof, don't really understand what an affidavit is. Both Sidney Powell as well as the Trump legal campaign led by Rudy Giuliani, all of their evidence is coming from, for the most part, these affidavits, signed legal documents. Now, here's the difference between someone just throwing out a claim that they know they can't prove versus someone who signed an affidavit of their claim. So I can say I saw Joe Biden crossing the street around the corner over the weekend and just make that statement without any repercussions if I am ever proven wrong. Anyone can make those statements, so you have to hold them with a grain of salt. However, if I were to sign a sworn affidavit, and an affidavit is no different than being on the court bench, swearing under oath, hand on the Bible or what have you, that I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. And if any statement that I make is proven to be knowingly false, I am at risk of perjury, which comes with an automatic prison sentence. Federal, I believe it's 5 years, depending on the state, like in Michigan, where the majority of these affidavits that the Trump legal campaign has been gathering are mandatory 10 to 15 year prison sentence. So if someone who is an eyewitness is making claims that they saw balloters put in votes twice and or run a single ballot at least 5 times with tape over the voter registration number on the ballot, And they're willing to back that up with an affidavit saying, if I cannot prove what I'm saying, I am willing to go to jail and serve at least a decade of my life. And then when I do come out, I'm also subjected to the penalties and or risk that comes with being a convicted felon. That's going to hold more weight. But the point of the affidavits is to provide credibility to these statements. And when you have enough, and I believe with just the cases that they have in Michigan, and the case that they have swelling up, over 234, 236 pages of affidavits. So that's at least 100 different individuals coming together and saying, this is what we saw. We're willing to back it up with the threat of a prison sentence if you cannot prove these specific allegations that we're making. That holds weight, enough weight to say, you know what, we need to do an investigation, thorough audit to look into these claims. But it seems like they don't want to do that. They just want to say, nothing to see here. But I digress. Let me get back to Sidney Powell. Every claim that Sidney Powell is making, yes, the Trump campaign is saying they cannot prove it. But again, if she's working independently of them and gathering her own evidence, her own information that's coming through, and she's getting sworn affidavits to back up her claims. And the affidavits, again, are evidence. It is evidence. It's not the smoking gun proof necessarily. The proof then has to be made after you investigate these claims, because these people are putting their lives on the line, or at least their freedoms, and are risking prison sentence if you can prove them wrong. Listen to the affidavits or the statements made in the affidavits and do an investigation. It's as simple as that. If you investigate and or do the audit, then you can say without a shadow of a doubt that those statements were proven wrong. Everything that Sidney Powell is saying is being backed up with these affidavits, which should justify an investigation once she starts filing these claims in the court. It does appear, though, again, Sidney Powell is acting of her own volition. She feels as though there is enough overwhelming proof that is coming to her law firm, her office, to prove massive voter fraud in a lot of these states and their areas like Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, that she has enough affidavits that a court cannot deny and cause an further investigation into these claims, an actual audit, if you will. To just say that none of these statements on these affidavits can be proven to be true, and so we must dismiss them despite what the officials are saying, you have to then believe that you have dozens, if not over 100 different individuals who are just willing to throw their lives away and go to prison because, again, if a sworn affidavit, statements made on a sworn affidavit are proven to be false, the individual who made those specific claims will go to prison for at least a decade for perjury. So you'd have to make that mental leap to believe that you have hundreds of individuals just willing to go to prison for just making up stuff on the fly, because that's the consequences. And that just does not seem logical. Again, it does not mean that the statements made on the affidavit are gospel, but they do hold some credibility. But you just have so many people in the mainstream media and liberal left that just want to sweep them under the rug and say, this is the official narrative. We have, there's no proof. And these are the same people that told you that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq to justify the war all over the place. Same individuals who just let Barack Obama say, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan, despite the fact that they patently knew that to be false. And you had Jonathan Gruber get exposed in a recorded statement he made in a university, I believe, or some meeting where he admitted, yeah, they had to lie to the American people. No one really wants to talk about that. So that's really all that's going on. Again, the Trump legal campaign is distancing themselves from Sidney Powell. It does not, again, mean that Sidney Powell is any more of a kook than Trump's own lawyers are. It just means that she has evidence and or information that they are not privy to, and vice versa, because they are working independently, and because they cannot verify anything that she's saying, they cannot in good conscience back her up just because she is supporting them and supporting the president in his cause. In fact, I believe there is now a whole new fan club for Sidney Powell launching themselves out there, believing that she is fighting for we the people against corruption and fraud, because there are, I believe it is millions of individuals around the world, not just here in the United States, that actively believe that there was massive fraud being committed here, that things do not look right, especially when you have a situation where on video, poll watchers being either kept fully away from a building and not being able to validate the information of the ballots, and or having windows boarded up. That in and of itself does not look right. And then the sworn affidavits of these postal workers, whether it be Richard Hopkins and or the other individual who came forward through Project Veritas, though I believe he's remaining anonymous. And again, these sworn affidavits hold a lot of weight, that it's just casting a lot of doubt. And you have those on the other side who just want to say nothing to see here, believe the official narrative, as if those who are telling you this have never lied to you before in the past. So that's my video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, if you like this message, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, it goes a long way. And please hit the like button. This is Bruce the Boss Brooks, and I'm out.